Hi, my name is Tina, and this is Knitting Blooms, episode number 119.
Do you have a favorite fall scent? We know that a lot of Barmaid's customers do. For example, Betty Boop has been a top seller for the last 9 years. It is a mixture of bitter orange and orchid. It sounds a bit floral, right? But Betty Boop is not floral. She's actually quite spicy. Little Pumpkin also has its very devoted fans, with its fresh from the oven top notes of buttery pumpkin not to be outdone by the middle notes of cloves and allspice. Hot Toddy, which was introduced last year, was such a hit that he's back. Hot buttered rum, oh yum. Then there's Queen's Bun, a custom scent made exclusively for Jimmy Bean's wool. Can only be described as cinnamon buns fresh from the oven and delicious enough for royalty. If your local store doesn't have these in stock, ask them to special order them for you. Otherwise, order them online at www.bar-maids.com.
As always, I would like to continue to thank those people who made donations to the podcast in the last several months, and actually since the beginning of the podcast. I was able to figure out a way in PayPal to export all of my transactions and then sort them by, I think it's transaction type. So I have everybody who's ever donated to the podcast from the very beginning, and I am still working on a special treat for you guys. I haven't had a chance to work on the buttons or whatnot yet, but I am going to be doing that, and you will definitely be hearing from me at some point in the near future on that. But what I have done, I did take some of the money that was donated to the podcast because Barmaids covered the whole hosting fee for the podcast. I took some of the other money that was donated, and I purchased some software so that I can do some demonstrations of apps on the phone or the iPad, which you will get to see this week, depending on how long the episode is. I have a lot to share with you, although not too much to show you, so I don't know if it's going to be a two-parter or if I'm going to be able to squeeze it all into one part. But anyway, I did purchase some software that allows me to display the iPad on my phone or on my computer and record the screen so that I can demonstrate apps and do tutorials on apps like Knit Companion or what have you. So if you have an app that you would like to have demonstrated or a tutorial on it, let me know, because I am going to have a new section in the podcast called apps, so there will be an app of the week, and I will either demonstrate just some basic features of the app, or I will do a short tutorial on one. So if you have an app that you're struggling with or you're thinking about buying, let me know. So let me give you a quick week in review, or 2 weeks in review. I almost recorded a podcast for you last week because even at that point I had a lot to talk to you about. But I let it go, and I'm pretty sure that after this week it's going to be a weekly recording. And I am recording this podcast on Thursday, which I think is going to be my new day to record, but you guys still might not see it until Saturday. I just think that if I can record it Thursday night after work, then I can get it downloaded to my computer and everything on Friday, and then either upload it late Friday night or Saturday morning. But this week has been, the last 2 weeks has just been crazy. I mean, you guys know about the whole cat situation. Sammy is doing better. She's actually sitting on my lap right now. She had a period of not eating for a while after we went to the doctor the first time, and her sugars were so high. Then we took her back the next week, and her sugars were much better. Her kidney values were back to normal, or one of them was still slightly high, but they think it just had to do with that particular kidney value taking a longer time to come back down. But she wasn't eating. And the longer a cat goes without eating, the more chance that they have of developing issues with their liver. So it was rather important for us to get her to eat. And I think it was last Saturday, I was really struggling getting her to eat. She hadn't eaten in a few days, and I was trying everything. I got just all kinds of different foods and just kept trying different foods, hoping that something would, entice her to eat. We tried to feed her tuna, and it was just crazy. Needless to say, on Sunday, I did have to do a little bit of force feeding of her. I knew that if I could just get some food in her, that she would start to eat. Because you know how you feel when you've been sick for a while, had the stomach flu or whatever, and even though you're feeling better, you're still not really wanting to eat too much. Well, I think that's what her problem was, and she just was not getting over it. So once she had food in her stomach and she started to process it, she did start to go back to the food on her own a little bit more. Still Sunday night and Monday, she still was not eating that great, but by Monday evening, she was pretty much eating on her own, not to her full, normal quantity, but definitely better than what she had been doing. And now I think she's pretty much back to normal, maybe still a little bit shy on the quantity, but definitely better than she was. But anyway, I think it was the Monday following my last recording that, on top of all the cat bills and the vet bills and all of that, somebody hit my car in the parking lot. I was at the pet supply store buying more food for Sammy, trying to get her to eat, and somebody hit me in the parking lot. I was in the store and I didn't even know it happened. Somebody saw it happen and actually went after the guy to get his license plate, because he left. He hit the car, he got out, looked, and just took off. So this Good Samaritan tracked down the guy, followed him, got his license plate and his make and model of his car, and I did file a police report, but it really did me no good, because I talked to the insurance company yesterday, and also Steve talked to the guy who hit me, because we got the police report back and it had all of his information. And basically the guy is refusing to help us with the deductible. The deductible is $500, and the guy's like, well, Michigan's a no-fault state. I don't owe you any money. That's what deductibles are for. You pay the deductible and then you file a claim with the insurance company. And I'm like, well, you're the one that caused the damage. Why should I have to pay for the deductible? And I understand that, and that's the way that the state works. But honestly, if I hit somebody and I was the one who caused the damage, I would pay the person's deductible, because it's not their fault that you're an idiot. So I'm hoping that the guy will reconsider. I'm planning on calling him and trying to get in touch with him and seeing if he will reconsider. I know he said he doesn't have the money, but maybe he can, put some money aside or something. I don't know. Because like I said, it's going to cost $700 to get the car fixed. My deductible's $500. It's not a huge amount of damage, but my car is in good shape, and I don't want it to just start going to pot. So anyway, so that's the situation right now. I just figure the guy should really pay for the deductible, because he's the one that caused the damage. And, I guess if he doesn't pay for it, I think that he'll eventually have to pay for it, because I am a strong believer in karma. I think that if you do something bad to somebody else, then something bad is going to happen to you. And it just goes around. Karma is karma. And hey, that's what happens. So that's been my week. It's just been crazy that way. Just money flying out the windows for no apparent reason. I don't know what's going on with that. But hopefully with Sammy's situation, that's settled down a little bit. And so hopefully we'll get that all squared away. What has been really awesome, though, is that it has become sweater weather here in Michigan. Every morning has been like in the 40s to 50s. It has been chilly. And so every morning when I've left the house, I've either had on a shawl or a sweater. And I have worn quite a bit of knitwear this week. I've worn my knit swirl a few times. I wore my Central Park hoodie a couple of times. And I've even worn my modified Lady Eleanor and my Bacardi. What else did I wear? I wore another shawl yesterday. Oh, I wore Trials with Lace yesterday. So I am getting a lot of use of all my cardigans and even some of my shawls. And I'm finding that I need to hurry up and knit more cardigans because it's really the perfect sweater for me, because if I can wear it when I'm cool and take it off when I'm hot. What more could you ask for? And one of the reasons why you are not going to see a lot this week, I have one project to show you, and that's pretty much the only project that I've worked on. Well, I've been designing a new shawl and socks. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been working on the design and knitting a swatch and working on the design and knitting another swatch. And let me tell you, designing a pattern, even a simple, well, it's not, this pattern is not really a simple pattern. I would say it's an intermediate lace pattern. But I have probably spent 4 hours, at least 4 hours a day, almost every single day, in the last 2 weeks, in the last 10 days, 10 to 12 days, doing this design, either working on the the Excel charts, or putting it into a document for final publication, or knitting swatches, whatever. It's been crazy. I think the pattern is going to be fabulous when it's done, but it takes a lot of work to design. And if you are complaining about paying $5 for a shawl, or $6 for a shawl, or even $10 for a shawl pattern, really? I mean, these designers, they go through a lot of work. It's not, a 10-minute thing where they sit down and pull a stitch pattern out of a stitch dictionary and plop it on a chart. At least that's not the way I do it. I find a stitch pattern that I like, that I kind of want to work with, and I see how it works in the chart. And sometimes when you knit it up, it doesn't look exactly the way you want, and you have to do some revamping. And I have basically taken the pattern that I liked and morphed it into what will work for what I'm looking for in this particular shawl. I'm hoping everybody, the testers that I have out there, have all said, it's looking good, they like it, it's going to be a beautiful pattern. I'm hoping that it's a beautiful pattern. So that has taken a lot of my time this week. Last week, I mentioned that I signed up for the Zombie Knitpocalypse, and my dilemma right now is that none of my friends have signed up. I don't know if they still have sign-ups, if they're still open or what. But right now, none of my friends have signed up because either they have other obligations in the summer, they like to take other vacations, or what have you. But I'm trying to decide how I'm going to get there. I have the option of driving myself, which is like a 10-hour drive, which really isn't a big deal, but that's a long drive by yourself. What I really like to do is find somebody to carpool with, either in the Michigan, southeastern Michigan, northern Ohio, somewhere along the general route where we're going, or I will fly. However, right now, airfare is like $400, and yeah, that's just not in the budget. So right now it's looking like I'm going to drive, and hopefully between now and next June, I will find a car mate who would like to join me, either meet up and drive together or what exactly, I'm not sure. So if you are planning on going to Zombie Knitpocalypse and are driving from the northern Ohio, Michigan, northern Indiana, Illinois area kind of place, let me know. Maybe we can meet up and drive together. Another thing that is going on this week, in fact, it's going on as I speak to you right now, the drywall is being finished. Yep, we hired the guy to come out and do the drywall. Steve did not want to do it, and I was like, we need to get it done. I want to paint. So he is upstairs right now doing the drywall, hopefully finishing today, so that I will be able to paint this weekend. And I will start to paint this weekend. I don't know that I will get the whole thing done because it's a big room up there, and I have to prime and all of that, prep. So I will probably get started on it and work on it for a number of hours on Saturday, and then also on Sunday, and hopefully get a good start on the room. And next weekend it will be hard because I have Knit Club and also VKN. So Saturday I pretty much won't get any work done on it, and then Sunday I will work on it again. But hopefully in a couple weeks the room will be painted and we can finally put things back together again. Speaking of VKNs, the next VKN that I will be hosting will be on October 5th at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. That's also the next day I'm having club, but it will be the next time that I'm having a VKN. So I hope you guys will come and join us. We had a lot of fun last time, as we do always. So come and check it out. Okay, so let me show you the tiny bit of knitting that I did this week. And it is on the on my basic socks. And this yarn is the Leading Man Fiber Arts. And I love this yarn. It is absolutely fabulous. Last week I had just barely started the toes. I was right there on that one and right there on that one. So I barely started the toes. At that time, I figured that I was going to really like this yarn base. And it is true, I love this yarn base. And Steve did a fantastic job, or maybe it was Andy who dyed the yarn. But they did a fantastic job dyeing this yarn. It is awesome. And it's really just a really nice yarn base. I believe it is merino and nylon. Let me double check. Yes, it's their showstopper base. It's 75% merino and 25% nylon. So look at that color. I mean, it is just awesome. Just the variation in that color. Love it. And I've only worked on these not that much, but when I'm walking, when I just need some downtime from the designing, it has been the perfect project for me this week. But in addition to designing, I have done the new Fish Lips Kiss Heel. Now, let me tell you what I think about this. I think that the person who did this did a fantastic job of writing instructions on how to do this, on how to measure a foot and to calculate where the heel goes. Now, I have knit 30 some odd pairs of socks for myself, and by knitting 30 odd pairs of socks, I have really figured out where I like my sock, I like my heel to start, how many stitches to put on the needles, and whatnot. But the way that this pattern is written, the Fish Lips Kiss Heel, the way it's written is she gives you explicit instructions on how to measure a foot, somebody else's foot. So like if you are making socks for somebody a one-time only, Cody's over here and he's talking to me. So if you are making socks for somebody for one time only, you want the socks to fit. And basically this is supposed to be a tried and true way to be able to measure the foot and get the heel placement in the exact place that it's supposed to be. Now, I can tell you, I did it on myself, and sure enough, where I measured, did all these different measurements, and then where my heel was supposed to be was exactly where I have figured out after 30 some odd pairs of socks that it should be, which was great. So now I know that I can just continue doing what I'm doing and use whatever heel. You know, if I want to use the Fish Lips Kiss heel, it'll still work the way that I do my my foot. Now, you will see that there's like a little divot in here. I think I did it correctly. When I spread out the stitches, you don't really see that, but it's kind of weird. It looks kind of weird. And I wasn't sure how it was going to feel on my foot. But I put the sock on, and it seems perfectly fine. Doesn't feel any different. It just has that weird kind of divot when it's not on the foot. Now, on the first sock, I may have done something incorrectly, but I did get a tiny hole at the top. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see. Let me see if I can put this on. How can I show you? I did get a tiny hole at the top, and I don't know if you'll be able to see through there enough, but I think it's right there. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if I did something that wasn't quite right. On the second sock, I still got a tiny bit of a hole. Not bad, but if I really, and it's just, I think it's just on the one side, which is the first side. So when you're working your heel and you start on the one side when you're on the knit row, it's just on that one side. It's not that big of a deal, but if you are like totally against holes, you might have to really read the instructions. I think you're supposed to pull the stitch really tight or something. I might not have done that exactly the way they explained it, which is why I might have gotten a little bit of a hole. It's not that big of a deal. If it really bothers me, I can go back through and do a little whip stitch on the inside of my sock to close it up. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. But if you have not purchased this Fish Lips Kiss Heel sock pattern, I highly recommend it, especially if you knit socks for people, for anybody but yourself. Because obviously, if you knit socks for yourself, eventually you're going to figure out the formula that you need to use for your particular socks. But if you make socks for your sister-in-law or your brother-in-law or the neighbor down the street, and you don't always make socks for them, this might be an easy way to get the perfect sock for each person. Another thing that I really liked about this pattern, and I didn't do it on my socks because I didn't feel like I needed to, but she gives you a method on how to make the sock a little deeper. So if you have a really high instep, and your socks tend to really stretch out on the top of your foot because where your heel is, she tells you how to get around that and how to make that heel a little bit deeper to fit a high instep foot a little bit better. I did like how these fit for me. I might try that method to add a little bit more depth to my heel next time. Not that much, maybe a quarter of an inch. We'll see how it goes. I liked how it turned out. I'm not sure that I like how narrow the heel is. Usually I have the heel and the toe the same, but you can see the difference. This is my toe and this is my heel. This is obviously a lot narrower. I'm gonna wear the sock like that and see how I like it. If I'm not really sure that I like it like that, then I might have to go with that other method to make a deeper heel but not decrease down as much. I will play with it and see how it works out for me. But nonetheless, I love this sock yarn, and I definitely will be purchasing more. I need to go check out Steve's shop. I know that he's coming up with new colorways and stuff like that, so I need to go check out his shop and see what other new stuff is in his shop. Although I have so much yarn, I'm trying not to buy any yarn. Trying really hard. So again, Leading Man Fiber Arts. You can check him out on Big Cartel. Love this yarn. I need to try the Show Stealer. I think that's the one with the cashmere. So go check it out. So I also have a bit of spinning progress this week as well. However, I don't have it here to show you again. I have been working on my loop bat. I have 2 colors left to go on my loop bat. I'm trying to get it completed by the end of October because I want to start my North Cabin Fiber Arts fiber for the knit along, spin along, crochet along, whatever, come November. Which reminds me, you still can use that coupon code for North Cabin Fiber Crafts. It is Knit Blooms. Hang on. Knit Blooms 2013, 10% off, and that's for September and October. So go out there and order your yarn so that you can have your yarn or fiber for the start of the November-December knit along. So I have been trying to get my my loop bat completed, and it's been a struggle. I continue to work on it a little bit every day, and it's been a struggle, but I am determined to get that done by the end of October. Okay, so here is where I will insert the information about the new app that I tried out this week, and I did a short demo of it on the new software that I purchased. The app is called Skein, and it is $1.99 on iTunes. So here it is. Check it out.
Today I'm going to show you a quick overview on the app called Skein. It is a new app, and it is a great app for just keeping an eye on your stash from Ravelry, as well as some other features. The app is $1.99 on iTunes, and I'm just going to give you a quick overview today. This is what the icon looks like. So I will go ahead and open the app. And when you first come into Skein, this is the welcome screen that you see. And this screen, just this particular note, just gives you a quick overview of what each one of the items down here will do for you. But I'm going to show you that today. So let's go back to notes. And you can see I've added a couple notes in here. I've added a note for spinning group, just so I can remember when spinning group was. Like, let's say you're at a knit group, and you just want to take down a quick note, but you want to remember that it has to do with knitting. I have other note apps, but sometimes they get so full with other information that I can't find the note that I'm looking for. But here you can keep all of your knitting and spinning and all fiber-related notes in one place. You can also see that on this note I have taken a picture of some yarn. For instance, maybe you are at the yarn store and you see a yarn that you like, but you're not sure what you're going to do with it. And this way you can take a picture of the yarn. I have also included the color as well as the fiber content and the yardage. So you can, when you get home, you can look at it and you can decide if there's something that you want to make with this particular yarn. I will quickly show you how taking a note works. So I will go back and then I will add a new note here. And you can just type in a note, or you can select to take a picture from the camera icon. And I'm going to just take a quick picture right here. I'll just take a picture of this yarn. And then you can select to use the photo and just make a quick comment. It might help if I can type. And there you have it. Now I have the note saved in
the notes section. So the notes is great just for tidbit notes like that. Anything that you want to have to keep track of. Like I said, if you're at a yarn store, what have you, you can take a picture of some yarn. The very cool thing about this app is that you can see all of your yarn right here on your phone. So if I click on the yarn section, oops, I guess I should be back. This is the main screen that you come to. But I can see when I log into my account, my Ravelry account, I can see all of my stash that is stored on Ravelry. So let me just show you that really quick. And you can see here all of my stash is listed here. And I can scroll through it. And I can click on a particular yarn. And I can get more detail, all the information that I've included in Ravelry. Now, I don't have a dye lot. This particular skein is an indie dyer. There's no dye lot. I can mark in Ravelry if it's discontinued or not. But it gives you the basic information about this particular yarn. Now, you can't change any information in skein, but you can view all of the information that's there. Again, you get a close-up picture of your yarn, and you can see all of the information. I have here that I've purchased this at Stitches Midwest Chicago. Again, you can see all the information. So that is a very cool feature. Then if I go back to the main yarn page, you can also see all of the yarn on Ravelry. So if I go there, and let's say I want to search for Cascade, I can do a search here and search, and then all of the different Cascade yarns will come up, and I can look at each one of those individual yarns. And I can go and click further down and get more detail. A nice close-up picture, the yarn weight, the manufacturer, how many yards per skein, and whatnot. So, and that is all of the yarn that is on Ravelry. Any yarn that is currently listed in Ravelry, you can get on this app here. So that is a very cool feature. The next feature I'm going to tell you about is the Tools feature. And when I click on this, you'll notice that you can view your tools that you have listed in Ravelry. Obviously, I do not have mine listed. I just put a few in there just so I could see how it was going to look. And it's really making me want to go through all of my needles and put them all in Ravelry so that I can look at them and see them quickly and easily right here on this app. One thing that would be very cool is if we could click on the particular needle and assign it to a project. I don't know if that's something future that they're working on, but that might be something that they could think about. So all the tools, if you have all of your needles stored in Ravelry already, they will automatically pop up for you here. The next icon here is Shops. And what is very cool about this is that it will show you all of the knit shops that are out there that are close to you. Now, when you first go into this part of the app, you may have to click on this navigation feature here. And I will go ahead and zoom out. I am that red dot right there. But you can see that as I zoom out, more and more stores pop into the screen. And you can click on each one of those little icons and see basic information about that particular yarn shop. And if you click on the eye here, the information, it will pop you over into Google, and it can give you driving directions. This is right in the Google app. This is a different app than Skein. It pops you over there. It tells you approximately 29 minutes to get there. I can scroll down here and see some more information. This is all information directly from Google, not Skein, but it will pop you over there and help you out to get there. So if we go back over to Skein, again, you can just click on each one of these different icons and see what stores are around you. And I can scroll and see all the different stores. Also, if you are going to a particular town and you would like to scope out the area, you can search right in here, and then it will take you to that area, and then you can see all of the yarn stores that are available in that area. And again, you can click on each one of those icons and get basic information, and then also head on over to Google for more information. And the last segment here, or the last icon, is settings. And over here, you can log in and out of Ravelry, and you can turn on the badge, the profile badge. And the profile badge is simply an icon on your Ravelry page showing that you use this app. And you will see right here, here is where it shows that I am using this app, right on my Ravelry profile page. So that's all there is to Skein. I hope you enjoyed this quick overview of the app, and I hope you will go check it out and see how you like it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
And now for some talk about barmaids. No, we don't have a drawing this week. The drawing will be October 12th, I think it is. But I did want to take a little bit of time and talk to you about some products. Now, you all know that I absolutely love the Lolo Bar. That is my ultimate favorite body moisturizer. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the face pudding. The face pudding, in addition to the Lolo Bar, is definitely a staple in my moisturizing lineup. I use the face pudding every single day. Now, I used to use Mary Kay Cosmetics. Actually, I still use their cleanser, and I still have their moisturizer as a backup for when I run low on face pudding. But for the most part, I use the face pudding every single day. And I just find that it just keeps my skin moisturized and my face is never dry. It's always got the right moisture level in it. And it is pricey. I have to say that it is pricey, but it is well worth the price. I think I usually get the basic version. I've thought about getting the, there's two levels above the basic. I believe there's like one with essential oils and vitamins, and then there's another level up with a lot more essential oils and vitamins or something like that. And I've thought about getting those other ones, but usually I'm ordering a lot at the time. I'm usually ordering, 4 or 5 Lolo bars, and then my face pudding, and to tack on, more money for that. I just haven't done it. I think eventually that I will. Right now I don't have a lot of issues with wrinkles or anything like that. But I know that if I start using the moisturizer with those vitamins and essential oils and stuff now, I probably can delay wrinkles a little bit longer. So it might be a good idea for me to go ahead and spend the extra $5. I think it's $5.95 and maybe $10.95 are the different levels up from the $24.95. But yeah, it's definitely worth the money. It lasts quite a long time. I would say it probably lasts me close to 3 months. So if you think about it like that, $24.95 over 3 months is only like $6 a month. A little over $6 a month. And that is totally reasonable. And so yeah, go and check it out and I think you can still get samples of the face pudding. At least that's what I did when I first tried the face pudding. I got their sampler set. So if you're not really sure which one you want to go with, then get the sampler set, and then you can try them out without having to spend $24.95 on one to find out that no, it's really not the right one for you. So go and check out Barmaids, and that's at www.bar-maids.com. And come back in 2 weeks for the drawing. And if you haven't already entered, go to the thread and enter to win for a $15 off coupon. So I'm going to try and get some of the questions answered from the What You've Always Wanted to Know thread. I have answered some of the questions in the thread because they have been pretty short answers, and I try and save the ones that are going to take a little bit more explanation for the podcast, so then I can just kind of chat about them, and hopefully you will get all the information. So the next question that I'm going to answer is from the thread, is the 6th post in the thread from EMB Queen, and she says, one question has always been on my mind. I wonder how many skeins of yarn are in those cabinets behind you. And I can say I have no idea. All of my yarn is on Ravelry, other than say some acrylic yarn, like anything that I buy from Michael's or Joann's or something like that. All of the Deborah Norville yarns are not on there, but all of my good yarns are on there. So please feel free to go and count them. I think in Ravelry on the stash page, it does show how many skeins of each are in each category. But then she asks what my favorite yarn is at the moment. Well, I think I have two. And they have been the same two yarns for a long time. And you may already have figured it out based on my Stitches Midwest purchases, but one of them is Elizabeth Laveau Silky Wool. There's just something about that yarn that is just fabulous. I think it's because it's a lighter weight yarn. It has a bit of texture. It's just really nice yarn. I have made, I think is it only 2 sweaters? I think I have 2 sweaters made with that yarn. And both sweaters I love. One of them is a pullover sweater that I don't seem to wear as much because it's a pullover sweater. But, and the other one is Coraline, which is, you've seen. I just really like that yarn. And I could make every sweater in that yarn if the pattern called for it. If you haven't ever tried that yarn, I highly recommend it. If you like to make DK weight sweaters or DK weight anything, check it out because it is really a fabulous, fabulous yarn. I believe it's wool and silk. It's silky wool, but I don't know the percentages of each. And the second one is Knit Picks Stroll, which used to be Knit Picks Essentials, and I originally purchased it as Knit Picks Essentials, and my second pair of socks was made with Knit Picks Essentials, and I loved it from the start. And then when I learned that I could make shawls with the sock yarn, it just became a definite staple. It's a very reasonably priced yarn. You can get it in solids, you can get it in tonals, you can get it in, I think it comes in tweed. There's so many different ways you can get it, and so many different colors that you can get it in, that there's bound to be a color that every single person would like. Yeah, it's just a really nice yarn. I think that eventually I will have every color. I think I might have 4 or 5 skeins in my stash. I know I have some old Knit Picks Essentials, which I don't think you can see in this picture. Yeah, no. But definitely a great great yarn to use, and like I said, very reasonably priced. The next question that I'm going to answer that kind of goes right in line with this other question is from the post number 10 from Anthony Huey, and he says, "How did you manage to build such a large stash? My yarn comes and goes as quickly as it came in." He says, "I could never fill my cubbies." He says, "I could fit all of my yarn in one of your cubbies and still have room." Well, here's the thing. I buy yarn a lot of times for a particular project. And sometimes that's not the project that I want to knit right now. And I have a hard time saying, okay, I can buy more yarn for that project. I'm going to use this yarn for this other project, which is the one I want to do right now. And instead, I just buy more yarn. I know, it's crazy insane. I'm trying to get to the point where I can look at my stash and say, okay, I have this sweater's worth of DK yarn. I want to do this pattern right now. I can do this, use this yarn. Even though I purchased that specific yarn for another DK weight sweater, I can just buy more yarn later for that sweater when I'm ready to knit it. I don't do that. And the same thing goes with socks and shawls. I don't know why. I mean, just recently I wanted to start knitting Kimberly Sock Bunny from the Sock Bunny Knit and Fit podcast. I want to knit her bee leaf pie shawl. And I have lace weight yarn, but I thought I needed to go out and buy more. And I was on the Knit Pick site and I was picking out yarn and I was going to order it. And then when you're on Knit Picks, you got to have $50 to get the free shipping. So before I knew it, I had $75 worth of yarn in my cart that I really didn't need. I have lace weight yarn. I could just use what I have. So I closed the window and walked away from the computer and did not order that yarn. And I did go back to my stash and found a yarn that I could use. I wasn't really excited with the color anymore, but I did dye it up, and I think I showed you that last week. I took some Highland Handmaids that was in a very light lavender. It was a very pretty color, but I wanted something a little bit more bright and vibrant. So I dyed it, and I think I'm going to use that. I haven't started that shawl yet, but I am planning on doing that. But yeah, I mean, I have so much yarn. There's no reason why I have to go out and buy new yarn every time a new project comes along that I want to knit. I need to go shopping in my own stash and hopefully work down some of the stash over the next year or so. So I hope those answers I hope that answers your questions about what you've asked. If you still have other questions or have like a supplemental question, please feel free to post it in the group. And that's all I've got for you this week. And actually, it went a lot quicker than I thought. I guess because I didn't show you all my projects this week. Because really, I didn't have much progress on anything other than the socks. And I don't have much progress on my test or my new shawl design either, because I am knitting two separate shawls at the same time. Anyway, that's all I've got for you this week. I'm so glad you decided to take some time and sit with me today. I know that there is a ton of podcasts out there. In fact, I'm behind again. It's because of this designing. When I was been designing all week, I haven't watched anything. I've needed to focus. So I am going to go and work on my shawl pattern a little bit more, and I have spin group tonight, so I am going to go to that, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will look forward to seeing you hopefully next week, because like I said, I had a lot to talk about, so we'll see how it goes, and maybe you'll see me next week. So bye for now.
No matter what time of year it is, your feet can be sandal ready. We all know there are hundreds of thousands of feet that are in need of some serious help, and Oh for Feet's Sake can help. O for Feet's Sake is a solid foot moisturizer, and Barmaids uses the perfect combination of skin-loving oils, including essential oils, butters, and ingredients ideal for your feet. You will be amazed at how quickly O for Feet's Sake can turn your feet from rough and dry to smooth and soft. Just follow the instructions, and in less than 2 weeks, you will see drastic improvement to your feet. You can purchase O for Feet's Sake at www.bar-maids.com. There are 2 scents, Soft Vanilla and Peppermint Plus.